update on Geno Atkins and Mike Daniels, and are you expecting them to practice this week?
We'll work through the week and see. They won't practice today. We'll just continue to go day to day with those two guys, and they're veteran players, and we want to make sure they're healthy for the long stretch of the season. So we'll just see how the week goes. Same with Sean Williams. Sean Williams has worked back in and starting to feel a lot better as well.
Coach, when you look at the first road game and basically no fans in the stands, do you feel like that advantage of having quote unquote home field is taken away? Does it offer you anything that you can relate to?
It's certainly not the same as going on the road and having trouble with your communication. I think that's usually the biggest thing when you go on the road is having to work a silent cadence and all the communication stuff that comes with it. Obviously, that's not really an issue when you play in an empty stadium or 6,000 people. So I guess that's really all I got on that one.
Obviously, Coach, your big scenario. You're coaching against your brother. Last week, you coached against your college football coach. This week, you're coaching against your brother. Looks like next week you get a break from this stuff. But what's it like coaching against your brother?
It's something else.
I got a ton of respect for my brother. I think he's a hard worker, good football coach, but that means nothing this week. We just want to go get a win. And we got to do it by going through the Eagles. So we'll be brothers next week, but right now we got to cut off the communication and just get focused on our teams.
Coach, can you talk about the Eagles offensively and defensively, and then also Carson Wentz at quarterback?
Yeah, start with their offense. They obviously got some weapons. They got a good tight end group. They got speed and size at receiver. I know that their offensive line's been shuffled around a little bit, but they got some all-pro players that are up there, filling at least 3 of those spots. And the backs are all playmakers. Carson went on a short season here. We had a short training camp. Some teams have trying to find their rhythm a little bit, and Philly's a dangerous team that way. On defense, they got some veteran players up front that they've had for a long time, and they just seem to add into that front, and they do a great job rushing the passer. They're really physical in the run game. They got some real talent there at DB. I know those guys some of them are new and shuffled around from last year, but they've done a good job putting some talent back over there, and those linebackers can make play. They're good communicators as well. So we certainly got a work cut out for us.
The decision to start Fred at right guard, what went into that over Billy, and what does he give you?
Yeah, Billy is coming off the ankle and thought we'd give Fred an opportunity. He's been fighting for spots since he's been here. And we look forward to getting Fred an actual day of practice at right guard. We had that short week. We never put on the pads or did anything. And so, he's only going to get better with every single practice and every single game. And so we're going to give him another shot there.
Coach, Joe said he's putting extra emphasis on connecting with his receivers downfield this week. When you watch the film, how close has he been over the past couple of weeks to hitting A.J. Green and these guys?
Sure, really close. And again, A.J.'s probably had 4 practices leading up to that last game. And it'll be good for anybody, whether you're an all-pro player or not, to be able to get on the field and get that rhythm and that communication with the quarterback. And we're only going to improve in that area, I can promise you that. And those guys are doing a great job addressing it.
Zach, what do you point to over the last couple of seasons, the difficulty with you guys being able to stop the running game? Is it talent? Is it scheme? Is it coaching? Is it a combination? What do you attribute it to?
Yeah, it's everybody's responsible for it. We got to play complementary football. We got to score on offense to take the pressure off the defense so teams can't just call runs and play actions every snap. We got to play with the lead on offense. And then on defense, guys just got to do their job and do it to the best of their abilities and not take a play off. And it'll be good once we start getting some of those players back, those starters back at the D-tackle position. That's certainly, you look at what our roster was on July 25th to what our roster is now, right now in the interior of our defensive line, and it is dramatically different. But nonetheless, we're counting on those guys to step up and do their job and make plays and penetrate the offensive line and make it easier on the back end, make it easier on those linebackers and safeties to where guys aren't in their lap. But again, we just got to play complementary football, and the whole team's got to step up and make those plays.
Coach, we were just talking with Coach Peterson, and he joked that they promoted Press to keep you from stealing them from him. And but seriously, though, is that something in your career at some point you would like to coach with Press? Is that something that you guys have ever talked about?
I mean, aside from these last couple of weeks, we talk all the time. And there's nobody I trust more in the game of football than talking to my brother. We're just trying to help each other get better unless we got a game on the line against each other. And so, I know how smart he is and how diligent of a worker he is and the respect he's got from players and coaches that I now have coached and coached with and coached players, so I know what the respect level is for him, and I'm proud of him, and I think he does a great job. I just hope he doesn't do a good job this week.
Zach, we talked with some of those. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Richard.
Okay. We talked with some veterans on Friday, the guys you brought in, Von Bell, DJ after the game, who talked about not being used to losing and kind of putting their foot down and all that. Have you noticed in the handful of days since then kind of a sense of urgency and attention to detail from everybody based on kind of their attitude towards it?
No question. There's a level of accountability that's important that our guys have. And again, there's no need to hit the panic button. We got to get better fast. But, we had 2 games in 5 days and got a chance to catch our breath this weekend, get focused this week, have a great plan in place, go execute it. Got confidence in our guys and feel like, again, like the guys you mentioned, we got the right leadership in place to get it going.
Yeah, when a team's in zone as much as they were, maybe, is there something that you can do offensively, maybe route depth? I mean, the passing concepts. I mean, what are some things to combat that when they're basically taking away everything up top and giving you the middle of the field?
We're going to take the completions they give us, first of all. When there's ways to attack them, you got to take advantage when they do give you the opportunities to push the ball down the field. You got to take advantage of them. At the same time, we're going to take what the defense gives you a lot of the times, and especially in the last game, there was a lot of soft coverage in there. We felt like we can get completions, move the ball, and scored touchdowns or scored points on 6 of our 9 possessions. And so we're not going to just push the ball down the field for the sake of doing it when you got some tough looks and can create some turnovers, and just be smart about our approach.
Can you describe the process of prepping for an offensive line where a number of the guys are playing positions or have limited NFL tape?
I'm sorry, you're talking about the Eagles offensive line?
Eagles offensive line, yes. Have a number of guys playing new positions or they have limited NFL tape. Can you describe the challenge of prepping for that?
Yeah. Jason Peters has moved back to his natural position, so there's plenty of evidence there. And they got 2 guys stepping up at guard, which we know a lot about. We know a lot about guys stepping up and filling roles. And again, our guys just got to get in there and attack them. And, they certainly have talent there. They got a guy they pulled off of the Bears practice squad that was our starter in LA 3 years ago at right guard. So there's some talent in that room, and our guys got to be ready to attack them.
Coach, when you have a Sunday, Thursday, you don't have much time to prepare, but getting off to the type of start that's not what you wanted, having these extra days, did you find that valuable to you?
It is. You get a chance to go back over just the 2 games you've had so far and make sure we're detailed in everything we're asking our players to do and the response from the players. And so you get a chance to clean up things that way, see what you put on tape the first 2 weeks in all 3 phases and what the opposing team may look at and how to complement that. So in some ways you got to find the benefit of having this extra weekend early in the season.
Coach, Auden Tate's agent voiced some frustration publicly about Auden being inactive last week. Have you talked to Auden personally about that, and what do you need to see from him this week?
Auden's the man. It has nothing to do with Auden. And so I'm not even going to address it because Auden's all about this team. He approaches things the right way, and you hate that he's put in a tough position like that because all he does is respond the right way and total team player. And so, I love that we have Auden on this football team.
Coach, you had the tough loss of C.J. Uzomah at the tight end position. Obviously, the Eagles have a pair of tight ends that are pretty darn good football players. What do you expect out of Seathan? What do you expect out of Shrek this week?
Yeah, we have confidence in those guys. Mason get pulled up. He's been here for a couple of years now. He knows our system really well on offense and on special teams. He's certainly worthy of a 53-man spot. We just carried 3 this year. That's the way it was, but kept him around for a reason because we got a lot of confidence in him. Seathan has only gotten better really with every game he's played on offense. He found more of a role for us at the end of last year. And that's carried over a little bit this fall so far in the first 2 games. And obviously he'll continue to play a bigger role along with Mason. And so, again, that's still a good group there. Drew obviously has been coming along and doing a really nice job for us in the protections, the run game, and in the passes with 7 catches last week. So that room's got some good depth there.
Did CJ have surgery?
Yes.
He had the surgery? He had it earlier this week? Okay.
Joe Burrow said he'll throw the ball 0 to 100 times, whatever it takes to win. He's leading the league in passing attempts right now. Do you hope to have a more balanced attack this weekend in Philadelphia?
Of course. And that just goes with playing with the lead. When we're down we threw 29 passes in the last 10 minutes of the game, down 12 points. And so things get lopsided really quickly. And so we got to do a better job capitalizing early in the game. First drive of the game, we don't kick a field goal. We got to score touchdowns there. And that's on the offense. And again, that takes the pressure off the defense and allows us to be a lot more balanced on offense.
Coach, how much do you worry when, a lot has changed obviously in your roster, and you guys have changed a ton since last year, but when you have a team that went 2-14 and you start out the season with consecutive losses, how much do you worry about the locker room if that mounts? I mean, is that something that you have to keep in mind and a concern as you hit this kind of stretch of the season?
I think whether we were winning or losing, the conversations are still going to remain the same with the leaders on this team, the young, impressionable guys on the team. We're really diligent with how we approach that. And whether we were 2-0 or 0-2, that approach would remain the same. You got to have a great pulse of the locker room. Coaches got to keep them motivated. Guys got to motivate themselves. And again, this is a big game for us this weekend. The guys feel it, and they're excited for the opportunity.
Does this 0-2 feel different than last year's 0-2?
Losing generally feels the same, and you got to go win, and it helps a little bit of everything. But again, our guys are refocused. They had the weekend to think about that, and now we're on to Philly, and guys are ready to go.
Guys, 2 more minutes with Coach.
Back to the balance thing. I mean, maybe it's a chicken and egg question, but would more efficiency in the running game help the shots downfield, or do you need to get the shots downfield to open up the running game?
It is, like you stated to start, chicken and the egg type of situation. We got to be more efficient running the ball when we call the runs. And you can make excuses for reasons why those runs didn't pop. The bottom line is we got to get 11 guys on the same page doing their jobs to the best of their abilities so that we can help our backs. And, I expect improvement there.
Coach, do you think that 5.2 yards per attempt number is alarming, or do you kind of throw that away as just a matter of circumstance over the first 2 weeks?
Yeah, I care about the points, and we just got to score points and take advantage of our opportunities. Again, if a team's going to play soft coverage and you're going to take 5-yard completions, then your average is maybe going to be a little bit lower. And we stress about the points and taking care of the football.
Are you satisfied with the way Joe's seeing the field, Coach, from week 1 to week 2? Did you see progression in that area as well?
Yes, Joe has done a really nice job going where he needs to go with the football. Of course, it's not perfect. There's things to clean up. It's one thing we've talked about, taking a sack on first down on a naked. Those are things that we got to avoid, and sometimes you got to learn your lesson once. But I trust him. There's mistakes that he'll make that he won't make again, and that's what you love about him.
All right, one final question for Coach.
Zac, the numbers for teams that do start a season 0-3 are not good as far as making the playoffs. How would you describe the reaction of your team to the record thus far at 0-2? And is it the reaction that you were hoping for from this team?
Still hungry, still very hungry and very accountable. And that's all I can ask from our guys. And again, we don't worry about the scope of the season right now. We just worry about this week.
Coach, thank you. Appreciate your time.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.